and mostly it's been to push towards a higher level of performance, which means a deeper set of skills that we ask of these performers, and I think that's been accomplished with the Guard, and I know it's been accomplished with the Drumline. And this year, of course, was no exception with this show, and we were real pleased with it. And generally, when you start aiming for goals that are more involved with performing and presence, then you start worrying less about winning things, and those things just tend to come a little more naturally, which I think has happened both in the case of the Guard and especially for the Drumline. We have 4 awards here for both our front ensemble and for our battery. Our most improved performer, front ensemble. Sometimes I ask the staff what we are doing. It's always interesting because there's really only one person, actually 2 people. They may not have been able to make it out today, but Dennis and Michelle Bray, who were on Davis's band staff when I was a freshman in high school, and from what I understand, I was a bit of a challenge.
Imagine
I
that.
know, imagine that. And it's always funny to see freshmen come in here because I think I know what I remember going through my freshman year and being something of a challenge, but then going into drum corps literally that year and starting to get some things figured out. But what I like watching is freshmen coming in here and getting things figured out, figuring it out here, and watching the growth process over the course of the year. And as Rob and I kind of talked about who was going to what, we really thought this was super appropriate because this young man has grown in a lot of ways, not only musically, but just as a person. That's Mr. Donovan Patterson. Back in my day, we didn't have winter drumline. I literally was one of the last graduating classes before this thing started to pop up and become something. And of course, it went national in 1993 when Winter International opened up their national competition to winter drumlines. But I've gone back and watched videos of the groups that I have, the metal one and all that stuff, and watching them move, and it just feels like they're moving in slow motion in comparison to what these kids have to do now. And that's both guard and drums, but I think particularly for drums. And we saw our program take a huge step forward this year because of the level of expectation visually we had for these kids. I look at it and I'm like, there's no way I would have done this. Like, there's just no way I would have taken woodshop. There's just no way I would have gotten involved in it now. But they seem to like it. We have excelled at it, and it's been one of the things that's really made this program grow very quickly. And to look at the people, I think it's not just about drumming; it's also about how well they move and how they do these things in combination. And we've got a lot of people who would be the most improved performer on the battery side, but this year this goes to Marissa on that. Outstanding performer. The funny thing about these kinds of programs with both Winter Guard and Winter Drumline is that while it simultaneously demands precision, the concept of clarity, we call it clean, as it would be in the layman's terms, the drumline thing has become more of a hot dog kind of a sport in terms of not only do we have to be clean, but we also have to perform. We have to give up a lot of our personality and push things out to people in terms of who we are as individuals. And I would have to say that from a performance standpoint, very few people know how to stick out of a group as well and still do this job as well as he did as Mr. Justin Brown. the outstanding performer on the front ensemble side of it, it's kind of funny because the battery thing has just become like, look at all my chops and how amazing I am, and you can get my number later, baby. Whereas on the pit side of it, it's really become about expressing more than just what goes on musically, but also becoming kind of part of the program that that is a little more subtle in terms of performance things. And it's so funny because every time I looked up, I always saw something new out of this young lady, and very soon after I'd see other people doing some things. But in terms of how well she personified these concepts that we had, this show of escape, in terms of the glaring oppression at the beginning of it to the just kind of escaping thing at the end, it was always a pleasure to watch her do what she did, and we're going to miss her terribly. Miss Chloe Mitchell. San Francisco. Yeah.